Parents of assault victims speak out over bail release. DIRD says DSIP funding for districts ready for collection. And new practices to protect our trees.
This is National MTV News with Neville Choi.
Good evening, this is Friday's news. Thank you for your company. The father of a 10-year-old girl alleged to have been sexually assaulted by her school principal has expressed anger that the man accused of raping his daughter is out on bail. The school principal was arrested and charged by Lay's Sexual Offence Squad police for sexual penetration of the minor last week. He appeared for the first mention on Monday this week, and he's currently out on 500 kina bail. His next hearing will be on the 24th of next month. While MTV has spoken to the girl's parents, their identities have been concealed.
This morning, MTV News met with the parents of the 10-year-old girl who was alleged to have been sexually assaulted by a school principal on Wednesday last week. The release of the suspect last weekend after he was arrested has angered the girl's father. Mr. Poimat said the suspect was supposed to be locked up like other offenders and attend court until decision is made.
I'm supposed to stop in long court making decision long Monday and all can kiss me out. Otherwise I'm by my stop along be inside long cell in court and make him decision. The
50-year-old suspect is a principal and director of a private-run school at Papuan compound in Ley. He was arrested and charged for sexually assaulting a 10-year-old girl student. According to the victim's father, the school principal is also a police reservist, a community leader, and a relative.
Me two places walk close through. That's all. Me no sabe why I'm turning back na. I'm making us passing lo pigini blomi.
Police are still conducting investigations into the alleged assault on the 10-year-old girl. The child has undergone medical checks and the report will be used as evidence in court. The victim's mother told MTV News that her daughter was assaulted on the day of her birthday when she turned 10 years old. Mrs. Poimat wants justice for her daughter.
No. Me mama me talk no gat. Me like him by court must deal with them na put him behind bars.
Julie Badui Owa, National MTV News, Ley.
PNG Power Limited today reported that at 3:30 this morning, Sirinuma landowners unlawfully trespassed the Rona power sections and shut down operations of PNG Power. The Sirinuma landowners petitioned a number of claims to the state, but PNG Power is saying that these claims have no relation to the company. However, this afternoon, the Rona Omani Incorporated Land Group, who are the legitimate landowners, approached this newsroom and released a statement saying they are not responsible for the protest that happened this morning at the Rona power stations. The Rona Omani ILG want to clarify to PNG Power, the national government, and the general public they were not part of the group that protested and made demands to the government.
The land, but this is not our initiative to protest to try and threat the government for such benefits. We have been given a lot of money, but we ourselves did not properly do land vetting to properly benefit out of it. So therefore we cannot put our hands up to tell the government anymore to demand and threat the government for any more money. I would like to convey this apology to the PNG Power Management. This has not come from Rona Omani ILG directors and the chairman to instigate this protest.
Department of Implementation and Rural Development Vice Minister Johnson Wapunai has assured all members of Parliament that the DSIP funding for their districts is ready to be collected. Speaking at the launching of the department's 5-year corporate plan yesterday, he said the department will release 1 million kina each month for all districts up until December. Finance Minister James Marape also urged all members of Parliament to provide acquittals to the department so that they could lobby for more funding for development.
To all our MPs, your first DSIP check will be picked up next week. It's in process. And we will make sure that your DSIP checks this year onwards, we will try to give you 1 million every month until December. The last check will be collected. But I want you to come here to listen, and then your check will be delivered to you next week.
If we can get the mix correct in showing that the provinces and districts can ensure that whatever fund has come is put to good use. We are qualified to beg again, if not, beg is not the right word, we are qualified to demand is the better word. Demand for great allocations of resource to the provinces and districts, simply because 87%, firstly and foremost, 87% of Papua New Guinea is in the districts.
Healthy mothers are essential for healthy babies, and midwives play a very critical role in improving maternal health care in the country. This from Australian High Commission Health Counsellor Will Robinson when speaking at an alumni event hosted to celebrate the achievements of more than 500 midwifery graduates last night. The event was hosted by the Australian Awards PNG in recognizing the critical role midwives play in improving maternal health care across the country.
The alumni event saw recent midwifery graduates networking with members of the Australian Awards PNG and Health Minister Sepuka Temu. The midwifery graduates were sponsored through the Australian Awards in PNG Scholarship Program, which allows for Papua New Guineans to study midwifery in any institutions in the country.
What extraordinary speakers I have to follow.
Speaking at the event last night, the Australian High Commission Health Counsellor said maternal mortality is a very significant issue in the country.
But providing women with access to supervised deliveries supervised by professionals such as yourselves is arguably the most fundamental intervention to improve the lives of women generally, to enable women to participate fully in the economic, political and social life of the country.
The Australian government through Australia Awards has been in partnership with the PNG government to support midwifery human resources in the country since 2012. Robinson said this partnership has seen an increase in midwifery graduates who have been contributing positively to maternal health care in the country.
Australia's investment in these 5 PNG training institutions has been through these scholarships, through infrastructure development, support for teachers, teaching aids and some learning equipment. And a recent case study has shown that these scholarships have had a positive impact. Midwives are actively applying their skills and knowledge across PNG.
Health Minister Sepuka Temu, who was there to witness the event, was pleased with the increase in the number of midwives in the country. He said he has made commitments to increase the number of midwives in the country, especially in rural areas, and such partnership with the Australian government has made this possible.
This partnership is very, very critical, as I have made an announcement as Minister for Health to focus on the reduction of the high maternal neonatal mortality in Papua New Guinea. So we are now putting together the pieces that are needed to at least see the sharp decline in the mortality of our mothers during childbirth and the neonates.
A midwifery graduate who has been serving in a rural area in East Sepik province shared his experience of working in rural areas. He urged all men in the country to take up midwifery training and contribute to helping people in rural areas.
And it's a challenge for us as midwives to put our hands up. It's a calling, it's a holistic calling. And God has chosen us. And I want to challenge those males, the colleagues out there, if you want to take midwifery, the ladies, the midwives, they will not go to Cambia, they will not go to Miloramu, they will not go those places our mothers are dying. Why can't you come and join me and let's go and fight a battle?
Rayon Lakingu, National MTV News.
And you're with Friday's News. We'll have more of today's other stories when we come back from this break. Stay tuned. Welcome back to the news. Bulolo Town's Lord Mayor Gaumina Soga says the current NID project rollout in the LLG will aid development plans in the township. He said registering residents and locals will give his office a better understanding in terms of population. This week, NID teams started registrations in the Wau Bulolo Urban LLG. The project is being carried out in the Bulolo district in partnership with the District Development Authority.
This is one of the 5 teams doing NID registrations in Bulolo Town. They're stationed here at the District Authority's office to register public servants and their families. Another team is located here at the market area to register the public.
Also mi plan lo noken golole mi plan trome money because lo kain no sem pasini kamap lole o sem olda road kumalutu emi give mi plan hard time. So mi plan go by sometime mi plan late.
Bulolo Town Mayor Gaumina Soga said registering residents and locals in Bulolo will help with the development plans in the future.
But meeting was display we can help him on a make sabos lo training pro town na development pro town na lo fans pro and me lo display town and by milk mo sem by and walk straight on display NID program will come up in salon display town Lumina.
The rollout of the NID project in the district started last year in the Buang and Mumeng LLGs and is now in Wau Bulolo Urban LLG. District Chief Executive Officer Tai Guambalek said the district is committed to seeing people in the LLG and district registered under the NID program.
And because the teams are in Bulolo, capturing district administration or the public servants and the private sectors of PNG forest product, we thought it will also be an opportunity basis to also have one at a public place where those who come to do their business, they can also have a chance to be registered.
Officers will conduct registrations in Bulolo over the next 6 weeks and will continue to Watut and Wau. Lucy Kopana, National MTV News, Bulolo.
It is estimated that 417 million kina is generated through the export of forest products in Papua New Guinea, making this an important income revenue source for the government of PNG in the renewable resource sector. And PNG Forest Authority is introducing new practices to ensure there is better management of the 300,000 kilometers of forest in the country.
These new practices include the use of drones to conduct surveys in partnership with Japanese International Cooperation Agency, ensuring logging operations are carried out within PNG laws and making sure landowners are paid their royalties on time. Yesterday at the PNG FA headquarters in Port Moresby, foresters and other environmental specialists gathered to celebrate the 7th International Day of Forest. Their message was simple: develop a habit to plant new trees and do not cut down trees unnecessarily. It has been 7 years since the International Day of Forest was first observed in 192 countries in the world. In PNG, it was first celebrated in 2013 with different themes to promote awareness on the dangers of deforestation. Thakla Gunga, National MTV News.
The Kumalo River in the Bulolo district of Morobe continues to affect commuters traveling along the highway. When it is flooded, vehicles and passengers are forced to wait, whilst others opt to cross on foot. Stanley Phillip, a commuter, said it's a problem that needs addressing.
This is a common scene when the Kumalo River in Mumeng, Bulolo district floods. Trucks, vehicles and their passengers waiting on either side of the river to cross. This bulldozer aids to make a path safe enough for vehicles to cross. For some people, they cross the river on foot. Stanley Phillip transports cargo to and from Lake to Bulolo. He said the delays caused by the river often leaves perishable items damaged. Salome Amon is another commuter. She said the problem has affected them for a long time. Salome and her family tried crossing the river on foot. After about 10 minutes, they made it to the other side. The Komalu River passes through the highway linking Minyamya and the Waubulolo district to the rest of the province and the country. It is used by locals, farmers and major companies in the area. Philip said it's a problem that needs to be addressed. Lucy Kopana, National MTV News, Bulolo.
22 participants from 11 national TVET colleges graduated today with diplomas in leadership and management. As an initiative of the Papua New Guinea-Australia Partnership, the program was launched in 2017 and facilitated by the IEA College of TAFE.
With the goal of enhancing the leadership and management of TVET colleges in the country, the 22 participants completed the program with skills needed to provide leadership in TVET programs, as well as contributing to the development of a skilled workforce for PNG industry. After 18 months of training facilitated by the IEA College of TAFE, the 22 participants from 11 national TVET colleges received their diplomas in leadership and management.
Graduates today will actually receive 2 testimonies. One issued by Federation Training under the registration of the Australian Skills Qualification Authority, and an equivalent diploma from the IEA College of TAFE under the registration of the PNG National Training Council. And I haven't got it written here, but I would like to stress that the 2 programs were tailored so that we could actually achieve that outcome, so that graduates would receive 2 diplomas, one Australian, one from PNG.
Acting Deputy Secretary for the National Department of Education, Winnie Leka, acknowledged the current partnership between PNG and Australia, which saw the completion of this program. Mr. Leka added that since their enrollment, all 22 participants have passed the 12 units in the leadership and management course.
The qualification you have received has empowered you to administer and improve the institutions you are now in for the benefit of the present student and future student to come. This is so that they will be skilled in their trades and are employable in various industries.
From the 22 participants, 7 are women who are pioneers with leadership and management in TVET.
Research also shows us that women are more likely to enter a field if they see female leaders. So increasing the number of female role models in our TVET institutions is key to increasing female employment and female enrolments as well. The 7 of you graduating today are pioneers for women in the TVET sector.
Patricia Chiamo, National MTV News.
As New Zealand counts the losses from the shooting that left 50 dead, the death toll from floods continues to rise in Indonesia's Papua province. In Papua New Guinea, 2 women are reported dead from the weekend's floods and strong winds that pounded Goodenough Island in Milne Bay. This the result of the same weather system affecting the region. Scott Whitehead takes a look at the region in tonight's Week in Review.
This week, New Zealand is counting the cost of the shooting at 2 Christchurch mosques that claimed 50 lives. The shooter, Australian Brenton Tarrant, drove a car full of weapons to the first mosque and repeatedly opened fire while he live-streamed the killings on Facebook. He went on to the second mosque and shot a few more people, and then he was arrested. But what has stood out this week has been the leadership by New Zealand's Prime Minister Jacinda Ardern and the people of New Zealand as a whole. The Pacific in New Zealand and the multiculturalism came out in unusual ways as people came to show grief. New Zealand's tough underworld showed its softer side as tattooed gang members did a haka outside the mosque and offered to guard the houses of prayer. In this crisis, the symbolisms have been very important for ordinary people. The Prime Minister, donning a hijab, has been attending to official duties as the country tried to move forward. The New Zealand government has also announced its intentions to ban military-style weapons, a move that's expected to have ripple effects in the region and other countries also undergoing debates over immigration and guns control. Across the border in Indonesia's Papua province, floods wreaked havoc in and around the Jayapura area. As of yesterday, more than 100 people have been reported dead. The flash floods triggered by rain washed away houses and buried vehicles. And while many people in Papua New Guinea are familiar with reports of violence coming out of the Indonesian province, the floods have appeared quite distant. Emergency workers have been deployed as relief trickles into the flood-stricken province. Back home in Papua New Guinea, it's been more difficult getting reliable information from Goodenough Island in the Milne province, where strong winds triggered by a related weather system destroyed houses and felled trees. Locals reported this afternoon 2 women died on Saturday after being swept away by floods.
You're watching Friday's news, stories making headlines overseas. When we come back, we'll see you then. Welcome back to the news. Turning overseas now, and from beaches to buses to workplaces and of course mosques. New Zealanders turned out in thousands today to show solidarity with the Muslim community.
Song, light a candle for peace, light a candle for love. Solidarity, silence. A coming together not seen on our shores for a very long time, if ever at all.
It doesn't matter what religion you are, where you're from, and everything else. We stand as one in New Zealand for everybody.
We're all united as one. We all bleed the same colour, brother.
Putting flowers down for me wasn't enough, and I wanted to wear the headscarf and support them and come along today.
The sun barely up at Mount Maunganui when participants in the National Lifesaving Championships hit the beach, their silence punctuated by the surf. At the top of the South Island, a human wall of protection sprung up in Nelson, thousands of all ages and beliefs joining hands outside the Islamic Cultural Centre.
I'm a follower of Jesus, and for me this is about showing solidarity with my Muslim brothers and sisters.
It revolves around everybody being together, everybody helping each other. You don't get through life without help from someone.
In the capital, taxi drivers stood shoulder to shoulder and parliamentary staff joined the silent wave. Across town in Kilburnie, the mosque was full to capacity. Hundreds also packing the streets outside despite cordons and heavy security.
We're going to be there for you and stay strong. I think that's the message. Kia kaha.
It must help the Muslim people to feel that there is all this feeling of love and oneness with them.
In Auckland, people of all walks of life came together at the home of the largest Muslim congregation in the country. Other church leaders brought messages of peace under the keen gaze of heavily armed police.
The committee of this mosque is so overwhelmed by the outpouring of community support in the last week, it's holding an open day tomorrow. It's the committee's way of saying thank you, and everyone in Mount Roskill and beyond is welcome.
An unprecedented day when silence told the story, we stand as one.
And despite their injuries, many of those shot by the gunmen turned out at today's gathering to pray and share their stories of survival. One of them was a brave teenager who lost both his father and his brother in the attack.
Heartbroken, 13-year-old Zayed Mustafa came to pray.
If I did and my brother and my father is still alive, it will be better.
Stooping as low as his bullet wound would allow, he answered the call.
To thank the God for everything.
Thankful, despite losing his brother, 16-year-old Hamza, who was right at his side when they fled.
I'm just sitting, and I'm seeing Hamza. Hamza is my brother. He can't hear me. I love him so much. We all the time spend the time together. We do all the things together.
Later, after being shot through the leg, he heard his father Khalid had also been killed. Just 2 days ago, he sat at the edge of his father's grave, read from the Quran and spoke to him.
I say Alhamdulillah because he's Shaheed, he's going to Jannah. Yeah, I say Alhamdulillah.
Praise be to God, he said. He is a martyr. He is going to heaven.
My father, I like it so much.
Everyone know him, loved him. And he was very sensitive man, very caring for his children and for me.
Today, with his mother Salwa, they shared their story.
Muslims are people of peace and love, not terrorists. And I hope the whole world now can understand the real Islam.
Before joining in defiance.
If they think that they're destroying us, they are wrong. What happened make us stronger?
Stronger from an act meant to tear them apart.
Police in England believe the Christchurch shootings may have sparked attacks on 5 mosques in Birmingham. Counter-terrorism officers are now investigating after the mosques were vandalized.
CCTV footage given to us by one mosque appears to show it being vandalised. 3 other mosques just miles apart also had their windows smashed with a sledgehammer overnight. Then this morning at around 10, another was targeted. The police, along with the local crime commissioner, spoke to the media this afternoon.
What has happened last night, I suspect, is probably partly off the dreadful events in Christchurch, and that somebody now has chosen to try and repeat some of those things in this country. They will not be allowed to succeed, and the determination here is absolutely 100% and will be 100%, I'm sure, across the whole of the country.
Speaking to people in Birmingham's large Muslim community, there's a real sense of vulnerability after what's happened here today. Some are now saying they no longer want to bring their children to mosques like this one because they don't feel safe.
It's very scary, especially with families and children. So we don't know what's happened next. So we hope that the authorities will investigate and they will do something,
It's unclear what the motive for the attacks was, although all 5 are believed to be linked. The counter-terrorism unit is now involved in the investigation.
A 24-year-old Central Queensland woman accused of abducting a 5-year-old girl earlier this week had her matter mentioned in court today. The child was safely reunited with her mother on Wednesday night, several hours after she was reported missing.
It's alleged the 24-year-old woman took the 5-year-old girl from her Biloela home on Wednesday after 2 p.m. while the child's mother was asleep. An Amber Alert was issued and the pair was found 100 kilometres away, around 4 hours after the girl went missing. Police say the woman had been invited into the home before the abduction by one of the mother's housemates. The woman allegedly took the child and a vehicle from the house and drove along the Dawson Highway to a service station at Calliope. It's alleged the pair spent time dining at a fast food stop before they were intercepted by police. The woman isn't known to the child or mother, but police say she's loosely associated with other people in the house. The 24-year-old woman was charged with several offences, including abduction of a child and failure to comply with a learner's permit. In the Gladstone Magistrates Court today, the woman was remanded in custody and didn't appear in court. The matter will return to court in May, with the accused to appear via video link.
And you're watching Friday's News on your number 1. Trukai Sports is next. Don't go away.
Trukai Sports.
Welcome to Trukai Sports. The PNG Rugby Football League held a memorial service in honour of the late Timothy Leper and Northern Confederate Director Russ Cowper today. The memorial service was held at the Oil Search National Football Stadium.
Only God knows why.
Timothy Leper and Russ Cowper have contributed immensely to the code. Lepa, who was the CEO of the Coca-Cola Ipatas Cup, the biggest off-season rugby league competition in the country, and the Kumul's assistant coach, tragically passed away in a fatal car accident on the 11th of March. 6 days later, Northern Confederate director Russ Kaupa passed away after a long illness. Kaupa was the Northern Confederate director, playing an essential role in developing the game in the Momase region. Both Lepa and Kaupa were instrumental in expanding and developing the game in the country. Members of the PNG Rugby League fraternity, including the SP PNG Hunters, attended today's memorial service. Michael Marum gave his tribute to the late Timothy Lepa, sharing memories, saying he will be missed during the Kumul's camp.
It was really good our camp. Even this year the news and then missing the meals and start protecting me of course and police start so he reminded me and the whole one for and 10 and board and this is what we can do. But there is always the side development of place come to, I think it's a lot of places in here could be a better start for.
PNG RFL Independent Director and SP Hunters Chairman Graham Osborne described fellow director Russ Kaupa as an influential and respectable person.
I'm very happy today to stand here and give a tribute to him because not only was my friend, he was also a good administrator for us. I hope that people like Timothy Lepa and Russ Kaupa and other people are not forgotten by anyone.
Space to shine upon you and be gracious to you.
The late Timothy Lepa and Russ Kaupa will be dearly missed by family, friends, and the rugby league fraternity in the country. Lepa will be laid to rest on Saturday, while Russ Kaupa's funeral service will be held next week and be laid to rest in Simbu Province.
Around the throne tonight.
Elijah Levitt, National EMTV Sports.
The Papua New Guinea Rugby Football League has lashed back its social media posts directed to SPPNG Hunters players, especially when it comes to criticizing players' ages, with comments not constructive but ridiculing of certain players in the club.
The criticism of the SPPNG Hunters has shifted from the field to judging the players' ages. While it may have been amusing, it has gone too far, with the SPPNG Hunters management not happy about it. Chief Executive Officer of the PNG RFL, Reatau Rao, disappointed with the ridiculing comments on the age of players.
We respect everyone in the public, their opinions, but I think some of it has gone beyond to a stage where they begin to ridicule and offend and insult some of the players.
He described the comments and joking remarks as ridicule to players in the team, like shooting them down when they worked hard to get into the Hunters team.
We should respect the guy. We should respect the guys for the amount of risks, time and effort and commitment they put into to have a game. And just when they're out there, we're out there shooting them. And it's not fair. I think it's gone beyond.
Rao has called for administrators of Facebook groups and pages to exercise decency and remove unconstructive criticism, which is no help to rugby league followers in Papua New Guinea.
If you're running the Facebook public forum, please administer and control the language that goes with it. Let's use that as a platform to encourage our players to reach their dreams, to reach the heights.
The PNG RFL has no fixed database of accurate biodata of rugby league players in all affiliated leagues in the 4 confederates, with most biodata of the players in the SPPNG Hunters coming from the DSIP Cup competition.
Every player is registered through the league net, and in that it has every key information about a player's profile, his age, his where he comes from, and a little bit about his history. that's the information that's available to the PNG RFL for Coach Michael and the team to access when the players are brought in for the pre-season training in November.
With no real way to prove the age of players in the competition, the collection of data started last year but could not be completed and fell short towards the end of the year.
So unfortunately, we just didn't have the time to continue it into the national championships where Justin and the guys were sort of having the championship in September last year. So it was a very busy period of the year, and we were working together with NRL PNG to get the photos and fill the forms up. That was done last year, except that we couldn't put them into the data system early enough. But this is going to continue from now on. The LeagueNet program that NRL uses, we're now using it from our kids all the way up to our seniors.
Fidelis Sukina, National EMTV Sports.
PNG female jumper Rayleigh Caputin is hoping to qualify for the 2020 Olympic Games in Tokyo, Japan. She returned to the country after studying and training in the US and has been training in Goroka at the National Sports Institute.
Look at that, a fantastic...
Rayleigh Caputin was part of Team PNG at the previous 2015 Pacific Games and the Commonwealth Games. She has produced outstanding results in her discipline as a jumper, winning gold medals in the high jump, long jump and triple jump at the 2015 Games. She studied and trained in the US before graduating and moving back to the country. Caputin is part of this year's Pacific Games athletics squad, who have been training in Goroka at the National Sports Institute. She aims to qualify for the Olympics in Tokyo, Japan, and the World Championships in Doha, Qatar.
I would say I'll just go out there and I'll just do my best. And with looking at the Pacific Games, I will use that as a lead-up competition to get a qualifying mark for the World Champs. So. The World Champs and also the Olympic Games.
Training in the US has helped Caputin gain more confidence in competing against some of the best in the world. Caputin will be going up against the elites at the World Championships and Olympics. In order for her to beat the best, it will all come down to hard work and determination.
Because here is my first time to compete with all the jumpers around the country, around the world. And I think it really puts me in a position where I have to work hard. Now that I'm looking forward for the Pacific Games and also the Olympic Games, I think I need to work a little bit more on a certain stage of my training, especially with power and also with technique-wise.
Some of PNG's best athletes have studied and trained in America. Caputin has encouraged upcoming athletes to take up that path.
It's a really good opportunity for all the athletes, especially the up-and-coming. As a result, I've seen that it's really important.
Elijah Levet, National EMTV Sports.
A report by a daily newspaper today stated that sprint queen Toya Whistle is a glaring omission from Team PNG's athletics squad. But PNG Athletics President Tony Green says different when we followed up with him earlier this afternoon.
The story published around mid-morning brought mixed reactions from the public.
We've lodged a complaint with the Post Courier and requested that they print a retraction on Monday, because this misreporting is damaging to Toya and to Athletics PNG, and it's not in line with the mutually beneficial relationships that we seek to maintain with all media organizations. Athletics PNG, we're very disappointed with the back page headline in today's Post Courier and the story that was made up about Toya Whistle not being part of our team for the Games. At no point was it stated during our press conference yesterday that Toya Whistle will not be part of the Pacific Games team. She is our top performing athlete, and of course she will be part of the team, and this Post Courier story is completely wrong.
PNG Athletics President Tony Green went on to clarify the purpose of the Athletics PNG press conference yesterday, which had 8 other elite athletes in attendance.
Yesterday's press conference was to introduce to the media and the public 8 other important members of our team. Those athletes, between them, they currently hold 10 national records. I reconfirmed in a telephone call to the Post Courier last night that Toya was definitely part of the team, but she has her own program, including going to Brisbane this weekend for the Queensland Track Classic.
Meanwhile, Toya Whistle and fellow athlete Ephraim Lekin left for Australia today.
She's on an Olympic scholarship, hoping to qualify for Tokyo next year. So part of Toya's program is occasional overseas competition to help her on that journey. And the Queensland Track Classic this weekend and the Australian Championships in 2 weeks' time, that's part of her program. So Toya actually left Port Moresby today, and with Ephraim Lurkin, our other very promising athlete in the 400-metre hurdles and the 800 metres. They'll be competing in Brisbane this weekend, and then after next week they will go to Sydney for the Australian National Championships.
This was what the sprint queen told EMTV 2 weeks ago during the PNG Athletics Pacific Games trials in Kimber when asked if she will appear at the Pacific Games in July. How's training?
Training great now.
At the Pacific Games, are we seeing you?
Oh yeah, you see me, I'm back on the track again. So my running, fastest times and cutting has been a true competition for me and cutting all my times down. So looking forward for the South Pacific Games.
Dinero Sraiko, National EMTV Sports.
And True Kai Sports continues with more after these messages. Stay tuned.
True Kai Sports.
Welcome back to True Kai Sports. CEO of PNG Sports Foundation, Peter Chiamalili Jr., has signed an MOU with Bowls PNG, where athletes are entitled to access services provided by PNG High Performance. Bowls PNG representative Andy Agovawa says the opportunity is timely and athletes training for the Pacific Games will utilize the services in full, that is. The MOU now makes the sport of bowling the 25th code to partner with PNG Sports Foundation.
The MOU now allows athletes associated with Lone Bowls to access services provided by Sports Foundation through its high-performance sports programs, which includes physiotherapy, strength and conditioning, nutrition and hydration. Sports Foundation CEO Peter Chiamalili Jr. says this opportunity will now allow athletes preparing for the 2019 Pacific Games to come forward and utilize the services at the High Performance Training Center.
So this is a significant step again with another sports within PNG, where they are obviously preparing towards the Pacific Games and more importantly too with all their elite training. So for the first time now we've had 24 sports that have signed on with the foundation to access the high performance sports services.
Representatives from Bowls PNG and team manager to this year's Pacific Games, Andy Agovawa, says Bowls PNG will utilize the opportunity by engaging all its development programs.
Currently, bowling in PNG, we actually focusing on junior development as our priority areas, and we also have up and coming international matches, the Pacific Games and the Asia Pacific Games down in Gold Coast.
High Performance Sport Performance Manager Armstrong Melly says it is their job to get the athletes ready for any regional and international events.
So the partnership with High Performance gives the athletes an opportunity to, develop in sports as well, and also in, after sports life as well. Yeah.
Chiamalili says the focus moving forward is to raise the profile of sports in the country.
Something that we've just developed in the last 3 years. We are getting more Papua New Guineans and skilled up, in particular with strength and conditioning, with diet, psychology, and particularly with physiotherapists. So all these different skills, they're key to developing a a key athlete or a sound athlete going forward. So
the sport of bowling is now the 25th sport in the country to partner with PNG Sports Foundation. Godwin Eki, National EMTV Sports.
In cricket, Kane Williamson has once again dominated the annual Cricket Awards, the Black Cap skipper winning 3 major prizes in Auckland.
A third trip up to the stage for a third time, winning New Zealand cricket's most prestigious prize. Kane Williamson once again the Sir Richard Hadley Medal winner on a night that represented far more than cricket.
Still a real interesting feel and vibe about probably for everyone around the country.
Following the Christchurch shootings, NZC held discussions around whether the awards should even go ahead. They pushed on, wanting to show their solidarity and respect.
Sport also has a duty of care, an opportunity to lead and an obligation to do the right thing. We should neither be cowed nor apologetic about standing up for what we believe in.
Williamson and teenage White Ferns all-rounder Amelia Kerr dominated the evening, the Black Cap skipper grabbing the overall Player of the Year gong, as well as the men's test and first class batting prizes.
It's a special award, but at the time when you sort of might be doing it tough, none of these awards are around, or they're certainly not a part of what you do. It is about just trying to contribute to the collective.
Kerr's year rewarded with the women's ODI, domestic bowling and a secondary schools prize. The Stars highlight a double century in Ireland.
It was a very surreal day, but I guess I got the opportunity to open the batting, so I wanted to make the most of it, and being an all-rounder is something I want to do in the future, but I guess I've got to prove myself.
Other significant prize winners including Ross Taylor, Trent Bolt and Sophie Devine on an evening of celebration and reflection.
And that ends Trukai Sports for tonight. The weather details for the next 24 hours when we return.
Trukai Sports. Trukai Sports.
The weather details were proudly brought to you by Dulux, celebrating 50 years in PNG and the only paint made in PNG. And a quick look at the weather to the Highlands region only. All centers cloudy. The weather details were proudly brought to you by Dulux, celebrating 50 years in PNG and the only paint made in PNG. And that's been the news, sports and weather for today, 22nd of March 2019. On behalf of the entire EMTV News team, have a pleasant evening and a safe weekend. Take care. Good night.